3, 2, 1, and welcome back to Chasin The Racin, episode 44. And for our YouTube video watchers, you'll see that we've taken extra special measures for this podcast.
Chrissy, there is no joke with safety, son. We've got to be cautious in this day and age now, considering the world's falling apart thanks to this virus thing.
And I think your phone's on, mate. Do you want to stick on silent?
Oh, sorry, I didn't realise we're at the cinema, Dad. Sorry, Jesus.
And for those that are just listening as a podcast, the audio, we're both dressed in full bodysuit with masks and surgical gloves on. So we're taking no risks with this COVID-19 that is it's just ruining everything at the moment, isn't it?
Ruining. Mate, right.
I'm going to take this mask
I'm
off.
sweating me tits off, I'm not going to lie, right? We're going to have a quick volume. Oh, God, Bennett. How do people feel like we're part of the drug squad? You know, when it, like, murder.
Have you ever seen Dexter?
Yes,
We look like we're off Dexter.
We do. I tell you what, funny enough, like, we look like a forensic scene. There was a murder this morning.
Eh?
At Durham. You know the bus stop in Durham? Like the main one. Swear me, no, I'm not winding you up. Don't like. 8:30 this morning, body was found.
Bloody Norris.
I'm telling you, young'un. See, bit of murder on the go as well as
it
is dark times, mate. It's all bad news. It's all bad news. But I tell you what, when you put things in comparison, when this news hit, you know what I mean. It kind of put things into parameters and it put things into little articles. And you know the way I like to think of it is, well, World War II, bad news. Chernobyl, yeah, that was really bad news. This, cancelling motorcycle racing, this is a disaster. This has totally gone up the left, hasn't it? Mm-hmm. It's nothing right with this, mate. It's all gone up the left. What's your take on it? Because I haven't seen you in 2 weeks, and like, all serious, how's the cough? What's going on with you? What's the crack?
I think I've luckily missed out on it so far, but mate, we're in sort of unprecedented times, really. You know, it's nothing like this has hit for generations and generations, and you know, it's very serious. And to be honest, mate, I've obviously all the racing stuff being cancelled. It's a total disaster, and for us as bike racers, it's, you know, it's massive. But in the scheme of things,
bear in mind, as you know, it's not just us, is it? It's the fans of the sport.
But in the scheme of things, when you're looking around, and there's millions and millions of people that are self-employed, they've got businesses, some around motorbike racing. So you'll have businesses that are purely based themselves around the TT, for example. One of
mine sponsors, like, who was like he was actually doing all the food, all the catering, everything for the TT this year. Mm-hmm. His whole business, his whole focus plan was the TT. And he's looking at bankruptcy.
And you're looking at...
And that's one event.
There's millions and millions of families across around the world, but in this country, where, you know, like people are struggling to get by as it is, and then something like this hits, and it's, you know, I just feel so sorry for all those people that are in a position right now where they've got bills flooding in, and they've either been made redundant, or they look like they haven't got any more work, and they've, you know, it is a real time to pull together, just as families, as communities. And well, obviously we will get through this, but it is serious, and we'll like I say, I genuinely just feel so sorry for so many people.
It is. The mad thing is, right, you know, the only thing really as a human species that we're truly afraid of is the unknown. Mm-hmm. And quite frankly, no one has no idea when this is going to stop, and everything is getting scrubbed massively. And I tell you what, right, I'm going to be very, very honest, and very, very honest. It's made me feel, you know, a little bit of a sado, really, in the fact that not just me, you know, all the races, like, you know, you've got your BSB and everything. That's a championship. Now, you see that as one package, but you see, with the TT's concerned, I've got one crack a year at that. Now, they're talking about postponing it, potentially moving it. There was even talks about them cancelling the Manx Grand Prix to put the TT in instead, but that is solely put on speculation. You know what happens with the rumour mill. One story starts at one side and it finishes on the other. But at the moment, I'm devastated. Mm-hmm. I am devastated. I know what you were just saying. There's people, general lives getting affected. You know, there's people losing loved ones. There's, you know, businesses going under. But you just think, the TT cancelled for me. I'm not gonna lie, I'm absolutely gutted. Absolutely gutted. It's only one, for God's sake, Dominic. It's for 1 year, hopefully. You know what I mean?
And I know for you, it's like some people class like landmarks in their lives, like birthdays, for example, and they count the birthdays and they sort of count to the next birthday. Or you might think of like Christmases and you use that as like your yearly reference point, or New Year or whatever. Where for you, it is the TTs, the bit that you work around, and it's like totally. You get to the TT and then you're thinking about the next TT. So that's like the central point of your full year, really, isn't it?
Oh, without a doubt.
And to have that taken away straight away is, and like you say, as we've touched upon, there's businesses that are based around that.
That's what I mean.
There's whole teams. There's loads of people that work for bike racing teams, self-employed people that rely on a wage. But like I say,
you think of all the
and it's not. The problem is, I don't feel like there's a quick fix to this. I've listened to quite a few podcasts and did a bit of reading on it, and from what I understand about this virus is with it being a new virus to the human species, none of us have antibodies. So none of us, none of us are, as a human, you're not naturally made to fight against this virus. Therefore, it's like everyone's open to it, open to catching it. And basically, I think they said that 4 in 5 people are going to get it, so 80% of the population will get this virus at some point. But if we didn't do any lockdown or any sort of special measures and everyone just acted as normal, the rate at which people would get it would be such a quick rate that it would just totally. Like, for example, if there's
it's overloading the NHS.
The NHS has got like X number of ventilators, and if we just didn't take any special measures and didn't do social distancing or anything, that would just quickly smash that level of ventilators. And what's happened in Italy is that the amount of people getting affected by this virus is more than what they can look after with the healthcare.
Oh, totally.
So you've got to. I mean, Italy's got the second best healthcare in the world, and in their hospitals, if you go in, there'll be like 5 people come in with the coronavirus and only one ventilator free. So basically, they've got to just pick whoever they think's got like the youngest
and survival rate, isn't it?
It's whoever's the youngest and the most likely to survive the virus. They give them the ventilator, and the other 4 they're just putting. So anybody above the age of 65, they just put onto a bed, put in the corridors, and basically say good luck. And that's the state at which, man. And imagine working on, and like you're talking about all these self-employed people that are losing the businesses. On top of that, think about imagine like being a nurse in this time, and like the healthcare system, and the whole thing is it's such on a massive scale. And like I say, it's new to everyone. It's not like anyone's like cool and like you said, things are either in order or chaos, and at the moment everything's in chaos.
Totally.
Nobody's accustomed to living like this, and it's I think I know we're like having a bit of a laugh with the suits and all the masks and that.
If you don't laugh, you cry, don't you?
Exactly.
That's the thing.
But I think it is important to. I mean, for example, for me and you, it wouldn't matter if we. I don't think it would matter if we got the virus. Like, as a young sort of healthy person, I'm not bothered. I wouldn't be bothered about getting the virus. I think I would be quite confident of just fighting it myself. But the problem is passing it on to elderly relatives with health problems. It could easily end up killing them off. So I'm terrified of getting it and then passing it to like my 90-year-old gran, for example.
See what I mean? That's what I mean. So like I've had a huge wake-up call over the last couple of days. I think it was like around about 5 days ago. They said, look, TT scrubbed. And I just went into that huge selfish side of things. And you just think, what the... like today, I've got the radio on and all you can hear... And we're doing the same thing. We're just talking about coronavirus, and this, and this, and this, and this. But the mad thing is, if we don't play our part, social distancing, Jesus Christ, man. How close are we sitting here? It is we're totally taking the piss at the moment. But... like, the quicker we play our part is the quicker the problem gets fixed. And that's the important thing to remember. But I'll tell you what, the thing we're going to have to start doing, mate, is we're going to have to try and cheer people up. But it's going to be nigh on impossible because all this news is shite.
No,
but obviously
we've got like the impossible job here, haven't we?
We do,
motorbike crack with absolutely
no motorbikes whatsoever.
No racing.
But we're going to have to go right back to the beginning here because I'm looking down going, we do have, obviously on this lovely podcast here, we do have a sponsor for this. We're going to call this the Suicide Hotline.
Yeah, we've picked up a great sponsor. So 2 seconds. So it's the Burrows Motor Company, and they're a local family-owned business with sites in Rotherham, Barnsley, Doncaster, Sheffield, Worksop and York, representing
I've been there.
Toyota, Mazda and Kia brands. Burrows Motor Company is large enough to help with any motoring requirement you should have, whilst remaining small enough to retain the family-friendly feel, with each team member working constantly to ensure they offer the best possible service to each customer, whether they have been coming for us for 10 years or it's their first visit. So whether you are looking for a new Toyota, Mazda or Kia, or wanting a nearly new or pre-loved used vehicle of a different make and model, Burrows Motor Company are large enough to help source the perfect car for you. Our dedicated team are well known to many of our customers and are just a phone call away. Of course,
motorbike fans.
of course, once you drive away with the service doesn't end there. With great options to help you maintain your vehicle in tip-top condition, our fully manufacturer-trained technicians, body shop technicians, parts and service advisors, and our booking team are on hand to help with any inquiry. Just call in or contact your nearest Burrows site. And they've got an exclusive offer. So every customer purchasing a car who mentions Chasin The Racin podcast will receive
technical.
They get a
oh, you were saying, man, they get an experience day.
An experience day, so like either a track day or like like a trip in a Porsche or whatever like that.
Meet the Pope, you know what I mean? they can provide it all at Burrows there. So, but thank you for very, very, very much for coming on board. No, I was actually down at their, I can't remember which branch I was at, and the staff were absolutely amazing. So it was there.
You said at the weekend you were obviously we'll get down on your weekend.
Oh God,
you popped in. Did you have a problem with your van or something?
Oh no, the little love bus decided to crop its pants up the road. It's chewing out gearboxes. It's oh bless it, she's seen some miles now. So no, but my good man Nathan got in touch, and hello Nathan, if you are listening, yeah, big knacker. But no, he got in touch, and they tried to source us out a vehicle. No, they cut off, but one of my good friends and sponsors, Addison MOT, based at that's terrible, Newburn there. Yeah, no, they kind of got me a van nice and local instead of going all the way down there. But no, it was very good of them, and they were very quick to jump on the situation and help us out, which is awesome. But no, obviously on the way up the road, they've been in touch with yourself, and now they've come on board with the show. So hey, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So obviously you had a busy weekend. I seen on social media down at you were here, there, and everywhere. Tell us where did it begin?
Oh God, Bennett. Well, basically, it was just a mental weekend. So, being down with the ACU, the Preston Motorcycle Club. Now, when I was there, it was a case of me and my dad were there. Doing the ACU coach and training assessment course. Now that's how you get your road race license to go. So you do an in-house classroom assessment. That's what my dad was running. So that's basically the health and safety side of it. Flags, what you do with this situation, what you do with that. And that's like a written assessment at the end of that. Then in the afternoon, you come and do an on-track assessment. Now, the most important thing that we need to get across to people coming to do this, and I fully recommend you come do it. It's definitely worth the day out. But we are not a race school, and we're not a coaching school. And it is literally like your driving test. We want to see your safety side of it. So it's basically obeying flags, your steady progression. It's not a track day. A track day, obviously, don't get me wrong, like no limits and everyone like that. They promote safety, you know what I mean? No undercutting, no dodgy moves or nothing. It's the same with us. But it's basically you're identifying situations and you're adapting. And we just want to see steady progression and that you hit apexes. we've had a couple of people that just ride round like, heads up their asses going da 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 da, and you think it is still an exam that you can't fail.
Mm-hmm.
So we're putting yellow flags out, red flags. How do you react? And what's most important about it is like the start procedure. And you think when we got racing, son, you just jumped in the deep end, didn't you? No armbands, sink or swim, young'un. You paid your license. You did. Yeah, I didn't in-class test. Did you do the same for your flags and stuff?
Back in Malibu Park years ago. I think I was about 11 at the time.
So you bit, well, obviously with my dad, you know what I mean? They didn't even have tarmac on the road then, man. If you are listening, Dad, do love you. But you see, then you just applied for your license. You just went out racing, which is just mental. But because it's the ACU, it's actually part of the British. It's become a British qualification, part of the coaching assessment. So I'm actually a level 3 qualified coach, my dear boy. Yes, mostly qualified. But so to do that, you need to do these courses and to make sure it's safe. But the important thing to do, if you on a start line procedure, is if you do stall or have a mishap, what do?
Left hand up, wave as much as you can.
Exactly, that is it. So you can. That's what we're looking for. And my God, it was mental. So when, like, at the beginning of this, right, the classroom's gone well, brilliant, no problem. We've got everyone out on track. Now, the first part of the procedure is like five laps, just getting used to it. Now I went on my little KTM. You'll never. Now, the fundamental side of this course is if you drop it, you know what I mean, without a proper, legitimate reason, you know what I mean, something like, for some freakish accident that, a wheelbarrow comes onto the track or something stupid like that, and you come off. The idea is like you don't come off. Guess what I did? Leading them round. I bloody binned it, didn't I? I was on slick tyres, right? Slick tyres, little KTM. Just went into a corner, and the cold tyre just totally let go. Just boom. I binned it. So obviously all my class behind us. Anyway, I picked the bike up. Obviously yellow flags. And I tell you what, everyone in my group, hats off to you because you obeyed the flags. I'm very proud of you. Very proud of you. Anyway, got back up, carried on. And no problem after that. But I tell you what, my dad just looked at me like... And, at this point, I knew I'm adopted, Chrissy. There is no denying it. He looked at me like, you are not my son. And I'm like, I think there's pretty much biological backstory to this father. I've got to be the postman. He smiles, you don't. But
speaking of your dad, how's he doing after his injury?
He's doing mint now, mate. He's doing
brilliant.
Absolutely mint.
So last time I spoke to him, he was having problems with the bone fusing. Is it?
It was a huge gap in the leg. But you see, the mad thing is, it's like his body was rejecting it entirely. So they were going to have to shorten his leg in a huge way to actually make the bone grow. But then suddenly, boom, it's off.
Excellent.
I mean, he's growing bone like a 22-year-old. He's absolutely howling through it, and he doesn't need surgery on his knee or anything. But the problem is, because of the metal pin in his leg, he's still growing at a high rate. Now, obviously, he's decided to sit the 2020 season out like the bloody rest of us. So he's he's decided to take the year out, which is obviously not affecting him. But if he had a crash with that pin in his leg, it is literally he could lose his leg.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously he needs more time because he can get the pins removed and let things move and just slowly going back to it. But no, there's no doubt in my mind, youngin, that my dad will be back on a bike in 2021. Yeah. There is no two ways about it. Fabulous. Absolutely no two ways about it. But it's absolutely mad.
Well, one of the main things for this podcast was obviously we didn't actually mention it on the last podcast, but we stuck a video out on the social media in between, and we had a massive giveaway for the Billy Art. Jonathan Racin. Have you seen that painting coming over? It's like the crest coming over from Foggy S's down into the Melbourne Loop. Amazing, absolutely amazing piece of art on an A3, artist proof. You cannot buy them, and Billy Art kindly got in touch and said that we can basically give away one as a competition. So we decided to ask people to, rather than get it for themselves, they had to nominate somebody to give it to.
Yes,
and we had lots of nominations, and we had nominations with like reasons and stuff. And
lots of selfish buggers going, I'd like to nominate myself. Like, piss off. You've had your chance, youngin. You've had your chance. Do one. But fair play for trying, mind.
And we're just having a chat before the podcast there, and we're talking about especially in this
environment that we're situation exactly that
we're in, and and we decided to
looking down the list, and we had a fantastic nomination for Annette Quinn. So she has been a listener to the show, a big following of ours, and she's worked like all the NHS staff at the moment are absolutely grafting their arse off. So we've had a good chat and we've decided to go for a net. Is that fair?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fair. And if anyone's got a problem with it, piss off.
So yeah, as a nurse, obviously, I bet you're working our socks off at the moment.
Definitely. But no, seriously, thank you for everyone for getting in touch, nominating, getting involved with it. Obviously, we'd love to give a million of these away, but we can't. Mm-hmm. But obviously, Annette, that's on your way to you. So thank you so
we'll
much.
Put Billy in touch and then we'll sort the postage out.
We'll go from there.
So
yeah,
another thing.
Go on then, before I have anyway, go on.
A big announcement is we've finally got some merch sorted. So anyone watching on the YouTube, you'll be able to see myself in the new caps. And now we didn't just dive straight in at the deep end with like the cheapest, crappiest cap we could find. Very suave. We kept sending ones back, trying different manufacturers, trying different materials, and eventually we've been working alongside Flash at TT Cases, and eventually we've came up with a product that...
Why does he have the name Flash? Is it, a criminal conviction?
No idea.
What happens on the Isle of Man stays on the Isle of Man.
And we're really happy with the product. It's very lightweight. It's a suede front with the Chasin The Racin's like kind of cross-stitched into the front. So it's a bit different, but it's really nice. And then we've got like I think it's called a trucker, but it's like a netted rear of the cap. You can obviously wear it front ways or back ways, and I wear caps a lot of the time, so I know what's. Sometimes you get a cap and it just doesn't sit right on your head. These fit well, at least to my head, they fit really nice, and so they're actually for sale right now on the TT Cases website. So if you go www.ttcases.com, there's a section for Chasin The Racin, and we've got our caps. You can also buy stickers, which, for the YouTube people watching on YouTube, you'll see on the back of my laptop there. So I think it's what was the dimensions? Was it 10 centimeters by?
Don't do a man measurement. Whatever you do, people get this wrong.
That is about 10 centimeters, isn't it?
Something like that, anyway.
8 centimeters, yeah.
It's a big ass sticker.
Yeah, it's a decent sized sticker, square sticker, Chasin The Racin, and it's a good quality. You can put it like on your car or van or whatever, caravan. So that I think they're
if you really don't like someone and they want to get rammed off the road, put it on the girlfriend's bumper. So
they're on for £2. Sorry, I forgot to mention the caps are either £20 or $19.99, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And the free postage for UK addresses. And
I think what's important to mention is that if people are listening to this and they think TT Cases are getting something out of it, they're not. They're sponsoring us. Now, they want people to go through their website, but obviously all that money comes back into the show, which is brilliant. You know what I mean? I think lots of people don't like spreading the joy. They'll be thinking, well, why are they not doing it themselves? I think that's a good way of doing it, though, isn't it? So,
and also, you can actually get Chasin The Racin phone cases for any model phone, and also we've got mugs on the way, but they're not actually on the website, but I think there's been a delay with all this coronavirus, but they are on the way, so keep your eyes peeled on the website. But at last, we're starting with a little bit of merchandise. We'll see how it goes, and obviously we're kind of launching at the worst economical time ever, which is understandable, and we're not. Oh, and I will just say we've got limited stock. I think we've only got 18 caps to sell, so I'm pretty sure they'll go quite soon. So then we'll have to restock.
I tell you what. Speaking of economic climate, have they shut the schools locally now? I know. Sorry, we're going back to the coronavirus crack. Yeah, so it's Scotland have shut. Wales have shut.
So from this week, yeah. So
from this week onwards,
Friday's the last day.
Tomorrow.
So obviously we'll have Easter holidays anyway in 2 weeks' time. We'll have 2 weeks off. So they've just cut the half term 2 weeks short. So we're going to have a 4-week holiday. Then after that, reassess. But to be honest, mate, looking at all the data and stuff, I really can't see us going back after there. I wouldn't be surprised at all if there's no schools until September, the new year.
Bloody hell.
All the exams are cancelled, GCSEs, A-levels, SATs.
They're properly getting ready for it then, aren't they?
Yeah, massive move. So I can. We'll have to see.
I'll be all right, though.
I'm no expert, but yeah, I can see. With your job, is there much chance that,
well, the only thing that could stop is the sawmills, but the way people are going through toilet paper, without me, there'd be no toilet paper. It comes from trees, people. So you've got to keep me in the job, but it's it's getting paid. You know, we're playing the same song again and again, and you know the country is just absolutely going down the shitter. But I tell you what is something to talk about is how much cleaner everyone will be after this. And I'm not talking about physical hand washing or hand hygiene or whatever. I'm talking about people's attitude. You know, it's like the toys have gone out the pram for everyone in every sport, and I think there'll be a lot less bitching, a lot less twisting, a little bit like, I think when the first event comes back, even like British mini bikes, you know, like the smallest capacity up over, I think when everyone gets back in the paddock, spectator, fan, organizer, it doesn't matter. I think when everyone is allowed, when the doors open again, imagine how peaceful that's going to be. You know, it's like, I'm going to be like, Jesus.
I'm someone that always tries to look for positives, and in situations like this, I think you've got to. And one positive I do think is it is really taking us back to basics. And over the next few months, I think do you know, all traditional values of like communities and you know, looking after your family, spending quality time with your family, like caring for your
elderly. You're going to be forced to, being in quarantine.
Caring for the elderly. Straight away, I live in...
See James Hillier's video?
Exactly, people like that.
There we are.
I live in quite a small village, and straight away there was somebody that set a group up for basically getting volunteers together, where we're going to go around, and anyone that's above the age of 70 and self-isolating, then people are going to match people up with carers, and like as a community we're going to all look after the elderly people, and all the local businesses are open at special times in the day just for elderly, like the shops are opening earlier to give the elderly people like an hour window to get their stuff before everyone else. And it is a real time for togetherness.
I totally agree, but I tell you what, there are some people who've been taking the piss out of that though. I'm not talking about here in Burnetfield, but like, you know, people have been going on knocking on doors and like taking money and not delivering it. You know what I mean? You've still got to. You want to flail him with a spork, don't you? You just think, how can you rob defenseless people? You horrible little grotty little humans, man. It's disgusting. But like you say, I think it's so important that I think we've got to look at the light at the end of the tunnel. Just see, like what you were saying, see the benefits that are going to come from this. And you can't dwell on the shite all the time, can you? Because you'd go nuts like me.
Have you seen all the stuff about Donald Trump and there's been like massive controversy over basically there's the World Health Organization is really adamant about not calling it the Chinese virus because they're worried about negative stigmas for Chinese people like living in the West and stuff. But then Donald Trump's just adamantly calling it the Chinese virus, and people keep saying like, why are you calling it this? And he goes, well, because it's from China. It started in China.
Well, if it was made in China, it shouldn't last long, should it?
That's a bit friendly racist, but
friendly racist. Oh, come on! Look, I'm not having to go at the people. I meant the products aren't exactly known as, you know what I mean?
Yeah, robust,
reliable. You know what I mean?
But yeah, it's
friendly racist.
Do you think that's what this episode's going to be called?
Friendly. Oh, yeah. Right. Well, you know, a little joke that's gone out of hand. Obviously, you know, I haven't. My good God, I've never thought of myself as. I tell you what, right? This is terrible. This is terrible, right?
Oh, go on.
Oh no, this is terrible, right? There's one lad I used to work, like when I was 16 and got like an apprenticeship. One lad I was working with, right? He was from the far side of biker, and he was a racist, and obviously 16. Growing up in a fantastic environment, you know, you treat people like you want to be treated yourself, no racism, brilliantly, and sitting in the passenger seat at 16 going, how is he saying all these things? And obviously at this point, the day goes on and we're driving through the middle of the Westgate Road and stuff like that. And I pluck up enough courage and I can, Stevie, I need to ask you, are you a racist? And he just looks at us like that. He just looks at us like that and goes, what? You what? I said, are you actually a racist? Have you got a problem with other people? He goes, well, I am a racist. And he goes, well, no, I'm not a racist. He goes, I tell you what, Dominic, let me ask you something. How can you be a racist if you don't like anyone? And I tell you what, that is the most political answer I've ever heard about racism. It's like that's just evil genius. But no, he was a terrible racist, and I hope he burns in hell. He was a horrible human being, to be fair. But But no, I'm not a racist, Chrissy, and you're not either. So that's good. This is a anyway. Back to the show.
Speaking of TT cases, they've
who aren't racists?
they've just brought out a new set of playing cards, and they were ready to launch at this year's TT, but obviously not.
There is
not
no
going ahead.
TT.
However, that gives the perfect opportunity. I was thinking people are going to be locked away in the house, self-isolating, and in quarantine, and all what you need is a pack of playing cards. And I've been racking my brains for the YouTube videos you can see here. So it's just an ordinary set of 52 playing cards, but with the all logoed up as the TT. Are you any good with magic tricks or anything?
The only thing that magical happens to me is when I wake up in the morning and find a stain in my pants. That's the only thing that magical happens to me.
So I've been racking my brains. What games can we play that are like sort of linked with bike racing with a pack of cards, right? And I
have no idea.
So I've came up with something, and people can
we're
maybe
going to
play.
discuss this thing.
Right, maybe people can play along at home, right? So what I thought is, if you start with a pack of cards, there's
well done, I
more than one person can play this game, and basically, you put your cards in the middle, and each player has to take 2 cards. So if we just put that in the middle, and don't take any cards yet, I'll just explain.
Okay.
In fact, do a shuffle. Do your best shuffle.
Do a bet. Oh, hold on. How do you do this?
Just do your best. So basically, after
I'm missing a finger. This isn't going to work.
Fuck, no, I'm impressed with that.
No, I can never
shout that. Wait, so basically, you take 2 cards from the top of the pile, a shuffle pack, right? And then when you say so, everyone turns the cards around, and with the 2 cards you've got to make a number of the most famous motorbike racer you possibly can. So, like,
you've won this game
for
already.
example, if you picked out,
let's go for an example.
Yeah. So and a quick one. Obviously, aces are number 1s, and I think if you pick a picture card, you have to take another card.
Right.
Okay. So picture cards
sounds good to me.
So if I take 2 there, so so you look. So I've got a king and a 2, so I pick another one. So I've got a 9 and a 2. So 29.
Hold on.
92. The only person I can think of, 29, a lad I used to race with, Phil Canessa, 29, 92.
Hold on, is 92 Marquez?
93, that is.
Is it? You see, I know now.
I've done myself in a bit there. 29, can you think of anyone? 29?
29?
BSB or Ian Oney.
Right, so, I had no idea.
Andre Ian Oney. So...
Right.
Do you see? So if you take 2 and I take 2,
right.
and then you try and think of the most famous number. So
okay, right.
Who have you got?
I have got 7 and 6.
6, I know.
67, Shaky Bird.
Shaky Bird.
Right, I got there.
76, Charlie King. He's a regular listener to the podcast.
Right, so you got to keep like a tally. We haven't really thought this through. I like it though.
It's
quite a good game.
Right.
I like it.
I tell you what, I'll take 2 and you take 2. Put them face down. Take 2.
Right.
And then we've got, let's have 10 seconds and see who can think of the best one.
I think
the
podcast peaked on the last one. This is going horrendously downhill. Isn't it?
Right, ready? Take your cards. Ooh, I've got an easy one. I've got 2 easy ones, to be honest.
I've got nothing.
I'll go straight away. So
I've got nothing.
I've got a 4 and a 5. So 45, I'm going to say Scott Redden. And 54, Keenan Sofoglu. I think they're both.
No wonder you came with this game. You're good at it. Right, so I've got nothing for this.
What numbers?
So we've got 2 and 3.
23. So you've got 23.
The amount of
Danny
if you're signing up for 2021 and you want to race somebody, this is how you find out.
23. Think of
I've got nothing.
32. The Roads lads.
23.
23.
Nah.
Do you know what's going to happen here? One of our best mates is going to be one of the numbers, and we're going to be like, "Yeah, can
Chrissy,
Chrissy." They're going to ring us straight up after the podcast. Like, I'm so disappointed.
I think your mum's my only best friend.
23. The only thing Danny Murphy used to race, he was 23.
32. What? 32 or 23?
32. A lad called Nick Clift used to run 32.
Yeah, right. There we go then. So if anyone out there,
on,
tag yourself in it.
Pick 2 more. We'll do another.
Right,
one.
then we'll go. Then we'll talk about the elephant in the room here. Oh, what? That's not going to work for nothing, is it? I've got to pick.
Guy, pick another 2. You've got a joker, so who's the biggest joker?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh, for crying out loud.
I've stitched myself a bit. Well, there's one clear person, but I've got 88, so Josh Daly.
Oh, yes,
I can't think of anyone else. 88.
Who else runs a... No one I know. So I've got 21 and... Wait, 12?
21.
12? 21. This has actually
Troy
gone...
Bayliss, I think, isn't he 21?
I've no idea.
Pretty sure.
Is he?
Troy Bayliss was 21, I think.
Go on, one more, right? This is quite addictive, actually. One more.
See, we're going to start a trend here. We're going to have people tweeting us in.
Right. So, hold on.
Who you got?
1 and 9? 9 and 1? Who?
90. Oh, it's a big one there.
Oh, Leon Haslam. No.
Leon Haslam's 91, yeah.
Oh, yes, Bobby.
And Alvaro Bautista's 19 as
There
well.
we are.
So,
right, anyway, that's the end of the game. But anyway, that's...
You should get special points if you get teammates with the same one. So like Haslam and Bautista. Anyway, so that's if you want to buy a set of these, obviously, yeah, if you've already got cards, you can play with any cards. But if you want these special TT cards, they are
nice,
I think they're $350 on the TT Case website. So if you go on there, and also to our patrons have got a cheeky 10% discount code as well. So if you're one of our patrons, check out the Patreon page, our Patreon page, and I've put a 10% discount code. So, on to the elephant in the room. I tell you what, just before we get on to the elephant on the room, I just want to quickly say I've got my new Daytona boots sent through the post. And I tell you what, would you mind just grabbing them?
No, yeah, different new... No. I tell you what, you can show them at the end, right? Let's talk about the struggle here, son, because obviously the last podcast we were talking about your Spanish trip. Now, you've obviously taken me advice on board about loose lips sink ships. What on earth has happened to you?
So I did.
Obviously, the last update, as far as you had shoulder operation, like months and months ago, fully healed. Blah 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 blah. What's going on here?
Yeah. So
yeah.
Deep breath. End of October, obviously I had that shoulder operation and worked over the full winter to get ready for the season. And hand on heart, I have never felt better going into a race season. I was out on the motocross bike. I was
about to say you're hammering around that 450 thing.
I've been working every single week with a top physio SJ, and I was at a point where I was so confident with my sort of bad shoulder that I felt it was better than my other shoulder. I was that confident. So went away testing to Cartagena, and on the third day, I had a little. I basically just ran into a corner a little bit too hot, and I was getting towards the edge of the track, and I thought, and I wasn't going to quite make it, so I sat it up, nailed the brakes as hard as I could, and as I got to the edge of the track,
how fast was this corner?
Oh, it's a really slow corner. Second, I don't know. Anyway, I got to the edge of the track, and I had to go on the pebbles. So I put my feet out, and literally as soon as I hit it, it was that deep. I just plopped on my right hand side, and I went down on my right shoulder. It was like a bit of an impact, but I just took a few seconds to take a deep breath, and then I picked the bike up, took it back to the garage. I was a little bit sore, but nothing too bad. Polished, no damage to the bike whatsoever. Brushed all the rubbish off it, and I did the rest of the day, rode the rest of the day, feeling fine on the bike. Sunday morning, got up, we only had one session before I flew home, so I went out, I did a few practice starts, and then I packed the bike away, packed all my stuff away, and got off to the airport. Came back got back into Newcastle, and I was busy getting ready for work the next day, whatever. And when I went to bed, I couldn't get to sleep, and it was just like a numb, just a not nice sort of feeling in my shoulder. So I drove through a Newcastle hospital, and there was like a 4-hour wait in A&E for all the drunks. So then I drove over to Gateshead Hospital and managed to get seen there, and they did like an X-ray. And they thought my shoulder was dislocated, so I went in for the usual, and they were trying to like manipulate it back in and stuff, and I was just in pain, and just nothing was happening. So it took us through, booked us in for an MRI scan in the morning.
So hold on, sorry, was your arm dislocated at this point?
No, I don't think it was. Went through, got an MRI scan, and basically when I've crashed, I've cracked it's called the glenoid, which is like the shoulder socket itself. So I'd actually cracked like a chunk off that.
Holy crap! How fast were you going?
I must have been going like 10 mile an hour when I went down.
Shut up, man.
10, 20 mile an hour, literally nothing. So it must have just been like the impact, like the way I went down. I really don't know. But anyway, so straight away booked us in for an emergency operation the next day. And so that was the Monday, got scanned. Tuesday morning I was straight in for surgery, and I had something called a Latarjet procedure, which is basically the chop a bit of your shoulder off, the bone that's like basically unused in your shoulder. So the chop that off and screw it into the front of your shoulder, which acts...
I've heard of that before. Like rugby players have it.
A lot of rugby players get it done. It basically, once you dislocate your shoulder, it loosens everything off, and you've got a weakness there. This operation then makes it like super stable. So obviously it's quite a decent.
Because I was about to say, because obviously that's mad how you've actually broken something. It just shows the quality of the previous surgery. If they've had, surgery, what I'm thinking, that's what I mean.
The previous surgery held up fine. That did its job, but it
done
actually
over
cracked.
Its job.
Yeah, it protected like where it was supposed to, but then it's cracked before that. So anyway, I got the got the operation done on Tuesday, and then I've spent the rest since then. Like my life since then has just been I've been on medication, and
I went down. I had no idea about this.
I went down to see Brian Simpson on Monday. So I went for magnetic and laser treatment there down at Brian Simpson's in Ipswich. And then every day I've been going down to Middlesbrough. I've been going to the oxygen chamber, and so I have an hour and a half in the oxygen chamber every day. I'm on literally I'm sponsored by Serbian CBD oil, so I've been trying to use that, and I think that's helping. I've been whatever else. I'm just on like every. Aiden's been so helpful.
Aiden Robinson,
ITRM. He's been.
Did you get in touch with him when this happened? Then?
Yeah, straight away. And
I was just about to say, have you got in touch with him?
Yeah, he's been giving us great advice and lots of supplements, which I'm on all the supplements. And
fair play to Aiden, man, because you haven't told me any of this. He hasn't told me. I tell you, there's fair play. Piggy, the little barrel, he hasn't said anything.
I've just. So obviously all this news with coronavirus, I wasn't actually prepared to. I wouldn't have been prepared to start the season racing myself.
In a horrible way. And obviously you're not jumping up and down because obviously with everything that's going on, but this is kind of played into your advantage at the moment. Especially me dad. I think me dad would be jumping up and down going, "Mint, no one else was getting a ride." But that'd be quite difficult. Having that mindset. Towards
it's obviously meant that I wouldn't be able to ride for a little bit of time anyway, and it would have meant I would be giving points away.
To be blunt, that would have been your championship, mate.
Yeah, but
there is no
as
denying
it stands, I'm very confident that I'll actually be back before the racing season gets underway. So it's
without the treatment. No, without. Sorry, I've just found out about this. I'm excited to ask all the questions, but so without. Okay. Without all the extra treatments you're going through, seeing Aiden, hyperbaric chamber, what was the predicted timeline for recovery?
It's really hard to say from them operations. I think back to riding a bike, I think they're looking at about 12 weeks.
Right. Bloody hell. And obviously the extra work you're doing. So obviously, let's talk about
I'm just doing every single thing I can to bring that down and to make it a strong, good recovery.
Can we talk about the actual construct of this? So... If they've rebuilt it internally, and you've just said so yourself, is this that's going to be stronger?
Yeah, it's mega strong when it's all sorted. Yeah, I've done loads of reading and like loads of YouTube videos and stuff. And
that's brilliant.
The success rate from a Latarjet, as long as the screws heal properly, it's like extremely stable. Like say, like high impact sports like rugby and stuff. That's what they all get.
Well, you've got a bunch of bully steroid men chasing eggs. You know what I mean?
The South African rugby team have it done. But yeah, I mean
That's
I'm not in much. I'm amazed at how much mobility and how good it feels after it's only been 9 days. And,
Never.
Yeah, and I'm like quite comfortable. Obviously, I'm keeping it in the sling because that's the protocol. But I'm quite actually when I take the sling off to like maybe like now and again to get washed and stuff, I'm like amazed at how like free it is, and like how obviously I'm not pushing it strength wise, but I have got quite a bit of strength for this. Yeah, for this time, if you know what I mean. So I'm very confident that working with my physios and various like people helping us out, that I'll be back in no time. And like I say, I really hope that I won't miss any race, and I'll be straight back for whatever's going to happen for. I can't see them running a full 12 round championship, but we'll have to see. I really can't see any racing going ahead before July, to be honest.
No,
and the schools, I'll be fully recovered by then.
To be honest, the schools are going to be a clear sign for me, because let's be honest, the first thing is to get the kids back, isn't it? Because the thing is, if the kids are at home, the parents can't go to work and everything like that. It actually the schools are a huge indicator of actual society, to be honest with you, because obviously that actually functions around the young'uns and goes from there. But like, I'm going to be very honest with you. When you had that surgery, the previous surgery, not this one right now, I was a little bit worried, because obviously it was kind of a point of going, well, he's had it rebuilt, it could pop out again, because you were like saying it was just kept popping in and out. I'm thinking, well, they've just kind of rebuilt it. But this is brilliant news, mate. It's the best out of a bad situation, because if you're saying, like, for me, just listening to that, they've packed it out one way beforehand. Now they've jumped in the front, haven't they? You've actually got a stronger shoulder than you previously had. That's mint. That to me, that's mint.
It's stronger for. There's like 3 reasons of like it's called something to do with a try or whatever, but there's like 3 systems that help it be stronger. One of them is the bone, so it's got basically a deeper glenoid, which is like your shoulder socket. Another thing is that you've got a muscle here called the subscapularis, and they basically split that muscle into 2, and they have one going over and one going under, so it acts as like a hammock across the front of your shoulder. So that I think that is the key to the strength of the shoulder, especially at, like if you put your shoulder out at 90 degrees, like out, that's when it's at most sort of risk of popping out. And this the new way that it's constructed helps to support that movement. And there's something else that helps it. But yeah, like I say, I'm quite highly medicated at the moment, so I'm in no pain through the day. And obviously,
from Mr. T, totally, you're more drunk than me these days.
With all this, what's it called, coronavirus stuff going on, nothing's really happening anyway. So I'm
nothing. Period.
I'm extremely lucky that the timing of all of this for myself, is
it's lucky, unlucky, isn't it? It's unlucky the situation's happened, but it's lucky that you can get ready to go do the job. Bloody hell! This is like the bad news show. This, isn't it? You know what I mean? Nothing but bloody bad news. But that.
No, don't worry, mate. I'll be back to whopping you at arm wrestling in no time, mate. So.
You could barely beat out a wank with that arm, man. Never mind. Never mind beating me, you little scrawny bugger. There you go. But no, bloody hell, mate. Wait, hey, fair play to you and the team for keeping that quiet.
Well,
I thought we were mates. But there we go. Bloody hell, there's me just...
Mind, I've got to tell you a bit about testing, because things were happening. First of all, when I first went out to go testing, I honestly thought that either you or the team had set us up. I was looking for the hidden cameras. So I got onto the plane, and I had a seat next to us. I was sat right near the front of the plane, and I had a spare seat. And I thought, get in, like I've got a little bit of space to like put my stuff, and like you put my leg over, and that a little bit, a bit more space. Comfort. So just as we took off, and when the lights ping go off, and you can stand up, so I get a tap on the shoulder, and I had my music and that in, and I take my music off, and this guy goes, "Hey, up, like, can I sit there?" And I was like, yeah, I suppose you can, type of thing. So like I moved all my stuff, and he moved in, and do when like you've got that the shared armrest, and it's kind
Aye.
of like he like takes over that, and all of a sudden like I was like all squished in that, and then I had my helmet with us because I know if you put it in the holder,
knocked
it
about
just
and
gets
that.
smashed to bits, and I'd just paid for a nice new paint job, so I had that, and I had my music in like this, and I've got noise cancelling headphones. You literally cannot hear anyone that. So he like taps us on the shoulder again, and so I take the headphones off and I go, "What's up?" And he said, "Have you got the helmet in case we crash?" And I like, he was like proper laughing, and I like pretended to laugh along, and I was like, "Oh, good one." And then I put my music back on. I was like listening to a podcast or something, and then he tapped us again, and so I like looked across, took my headphones off, and he goes, "Because if we do crash, I'll take the helmet," and like laughed, proper laughing. And I was like, "Oh, good one." And then I put me music back on, and I was just like back to just chilling. And then he literally 2 minutes later, like big tap on the shoulder again, and so I took my helmet and looked around. He goes, "Do you want an egg sandwich?"
You're joking.
And I went, "Oh,
who was this guy previously sitting next to?
I just said, oh, thanks for the offer, mate, but I'm all right. I've just had food, but cheers anyway." And then I put my music back on, and then he tapped us again, and I was like, this is what I mean. I was like looking for the cameras. I thought this has got to be a setup. And then he taps us again, so I take my hat and I go, and he goes, "Are you sure? Like me missus has made them. Like, are you sure you don't want one?" I said, "Honestly, mate, I've like just had burger and chips like before I set off. Like, I'm fine, but honestly, thanks very much for offering. Really kind of you." And then 5 more minutes, the person comes around with coffees. So I get a coffee, he gets a coffee, and I'm like drinking mine. And
How long was this flight?
It was just to Spain, like 2 hours or something. I started nodding off, and all of a sudden I had my shorts on. I had my shorts on, but then I had like my coat and everything down by my feet. And all of a sudden I just get like a scalding hot sensation all down my leg. And I look, and his whole cup of coffee is he just knocked his whole cup of coffee, so it was covering my leg, and it went down and like covered my coat and everything. So like I like knocked my headphones off, and like I like sort of moved me stuff out the way and that, and like, and he goes, "Ah, no," he goes, "I was proper looking forward to that."
You're joking. Did he even apologise?
No. And I was just like, "You are joking me." And so anyway, I moved all my stuff, and he gave
everyone listening to this
do you know
now
that
just
proper
going
that proper coffee with it's got the granulated bit, so that they were literally everywhere. They're like covering me socks,
like medieval warfare.
Tar. And I like I say, I was seriously looking for the cameras. I thought like you being framed or something had like put us up to it or something. And anyway,
how did you not snap?
No, I didn't.
How did you not snap?
And then testing itself, to be honest, other than my little lie down in the gravel where I smashed my shoulder, rest of the testing was mega. Really, really enjoyed being back out on the bike. First of all, I just want to say we've talked about Cartagena surface. It's been resurfaced and problems.
We got
and stuff.
slated for it.
I'm massively not a fan, mate. I've been at Cartagena a good few times. Love the track, love the layout. They've done an awful job with the resurfacing, and it's as if like it's as if like a butcher sort of butchered in like all the parts of like all the. Do you know if there's tiny little like holes in the track that aren't problems? They've went round with like a really slippy sort of like fill-in gun and filled in them all, but it just means that you're like sort of the grip level is changing all the time when you hit these like little bits.
Yeah.
And it's just, I remember the first few laps I went out, and you know when you're just gradually building up and you're like constant throttle everywhere, and just it's like you'll get good grip, good, and then all of a sudden, and it's just twitching everywhere. And like every time you hit these, some of them are in the braking zones as well, so you're like nailing the brakes going into corners.
And just once
you're looking down, and it's like this like slippy stuff, and the front's tucking. I was spending more time like sort of looking in front of us, looking to try and miss like they're like potholes, but they're just filled in bits.
That's a
just
shame.
Really, really not a fan. To be honest, I was only 0.8 off my best lap time around there. So considering I wasn't a fan of the track, I was really happy with that. My best round there is a 135.8. Yeah, and I did a 36.6. So I was like, 8 tenths off.
Still, fair play for something that you're not happy with. There you are.
I just really wasn't comfortable with the bike. Like I said, not with the bike, with the circuit. I just felt it was dead sketchy. But we got through what we needed to do. Sort of got back up to speed. First session I went out, I was on all tyres, and I was straight into the 39s, and then the next session was 38s, next session was 37s, and then the following day I was straight into the 36s. So it was like nice progression. Once I got to that 30, I did a 36.6. I came in and I just said, I'm really not fussed about. I don't want to go out there and scratch trying to get a lap time, because you can hit one of these little patches of shit
and that's it.
Go down and write the bike off and hurt myself, and it's for absolutely nothing. None of the UK tracks have like resurfacing like that. So we just spent the rest of the time, like there's part of the track where they've like filled in, and I was using like really weird wide, like mega wide lines purely just to avoid. So like I would have looked like a right knacker following us, but I wasn't bothered. I just didn't want to touch these slippy bits.
Yeah.
And I just spent the rest of the day just plugging away, nice and steady, we're kind of like going from one extreme to the other with setup. So there was certain things that like I tried on the bike last year where we ended up like oscillating between certain settings. So I went from like really one extreme to the other extreme just so I could see the difference. And the bike that I finished the test with, I was really I'm more than happy to roll around.
Ready to go for 2021.
Yeah, ready to go. So and the Team Omega had a right good laugh. We stayed at this little place in the middle of nowhere. And yeah, it's all about sort of team bonding and getting to know each other. Work, obviously, new crew chief to work with. And there was a few. Craig Neve was out there giving it a few portions.
I tell you what, he's done some serious track time. Jamie Coward's been out doing lots of track.
But Craig had 3 little offs, and like
really,
yeah. But that's what I mean. Like that all 3 probably would have been for the track
service, not Craig.
And you just think, it's like a cheap. It turns into expensive very quickly, doesn't it? Another thing, just while we're on it about the track as well, there used to be a guy who ran the cafe, and he was like English speaking, really good English speaking. He was that good, you thought he was from England, but he wasn't. He was Spanish.
Better than us.
And he used to run like the cafe mega, like you order, you wait there, you get your sandwich within a couple of minutes, everyone's happy. The people that are running the cafe at the moment are just, it's like you could easily be waiting for like 40 minutes for a coffee, and they're all kind of like chatting, and like you would have like 3 people behind the tills like washing dishes while there's like a queue of 10 people, and they would be washing dishes for like 10 minutes, and like everyone, you can see people like starting to like
fizz,
get angry, especially English people, where it's their culture, they're very relaxed. The Spanish people, and they'll just chill and like have siesta and like drink. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
Where English people were like,
we've got
like an hour to get ready for the next session, and the service was it needs somebody to go in there that can is used to running something and get like
someone that can run a bath,
productivity, like a productive setup going, because that did let it down a little bit.
So about the calf and the track service and breaking your shoulder, all in all, fantastic.
Mega test.
Happy days. Yeah. You couldn't get anything more out of it. There we go, brilliant. That's
days.
Good. Well, no, I got out of my ZX10, which was awesome. Just happy. I went out and like 4-lap all Dunlop TT tyres, so that was like
so was that
on ice
at Mallory Park?
Mallory Park, loved it.
Brilliant.
Though. It was dry. Went out in the Yamaha Classic as well. Found out some huge step forwards for the Classic TT, which is brilliant.
Are you confident the Classic will go ahead?
God, I hope so. It's just, thing is, if we sit here, you know what I mean, like, everything's been scrubbed. The Northwest, Cookstown, Kells, everything. There's talks about postponing things to further in the year, which is a smart move. Pre-TT's gone, 700's gone. Everything's just down.
Here's a question.
And it's not good, mate. It is not good.
All road racing's cancelled this year, but let's say, Thundersport get like a 6 series round sorted for the end of the year. Would you consider preparation for 2021?
I would love to.
Like that?
I would love to, but seeing whole team are based on the TT, and you just think, well, we'll just. It's the Davies decision on that side of things. Beggars can't be choosers. Me, I'd want to be, I'll go race anything. Like on the weekend there, I was down at the British Mini Bikes testing out Pete Hickman's O'Valley things.
O'Valley, yeah.
Absolutely, mate, honestly, just absolutely class little bikes, mine. Absolutely class. But, it's been a success, oh God, I just want to race bikes, but you just think, oh, it's all down. But you've got to have the right attitude about going back and getting ready for next year, like you say, and you're doing the same, and we're all doing the same. Everyone's doing the same. So, fingers crossed, mate. Fingers crossed we can get going again.
Mm-hmm.
But no, so. Yeah,
well, what about over the next week or so? Have you got anything lined up?
Nah, because everything's been bloody scrubbed. It's it's gone to pot. I think work and still carry on building bikes. There's no point stopping being prepared, just in case something does kick off. But until now, I think we're going to have to try and pull some miracles out our asses and try and get some podcasts done on something.
Hopefully our trailer will be here soon, and we'll get a few road trips booked in and get some good guests. Well, I've already got some good guests lined up for the next few months, so we'll get
unless we're in quarantine, but the good old power of Skype, we'll be able to get.
We'll get our suits. We'll get our suits on, man, and get out in the trailer. I would just like to say as well, obviously this time, like with what's going on, a lot of people out there, especially people who are listening to the podcast. There'll be a lot of people that are being made redundant right now, and for anyone that's been in the situation where they haven't got work and they've got the bills coming in and the
the support,
things. It's very easy to be in such a horrible, difficult hole, and you're not alone if you're in that position. And I've just been having to think about like ways that we could possibly help with the podcast, and if there's anybody out there that's lost the job and needs work, is currently unemployed and needs work, please send us either a message on one of our social medias, or if you email me at chrissyrouse@hotmail.co.uk. Email us your name, your location, and
a little bit of a CV.
Your skills. So like maybe like a bike mechanic, or engineer, or just whatever it is.
And you're looking for work, we can advertise it.
And we'll either advertise it on the next podcast.
Yes.
And we can maybe like put a list together and put it out on the social media.
Good idea.
Obviously, it's nothing in the scheme of things, but even if we get one person a job through it, it'll be massively
definitely
worth it. And I guess just as an override message, I think as a community, we've got to really stick together for the next few months.
For however long.
There's like two sides to every coin, because some people, I totally understand people are just saying like it's just like a bit of a flu, and it's not like, people aren't worried for themselves, but then they're worried for elderly people, which is spot on. And people think people are overreacting, and people, there's all this thing about it being a conspiracy and all this. But at the end of the day, lots of people are dying, and there's a lot of people that are losing their jobs and who are in economic.
We've all got to play with it. We've all got to play with it to get the country back online.
Yeah, and we've just got to stay together, and hopefully through these podcasts we can, even if it's just take you out of a situation for an hour and just
talk about nothing, talk about all the crap
with your friendly racism. No, I'm just kidding. And I just have got fun.
Look, right, we're not like right, we're not.
Anyway,
hey, before we tidy up the show there, obviously, well done to all them ACU. Everyone got their licenses. Sorry I did bin it, but shit happens. But no, cold tires do catch everyone out.
We'll just say as well, we've just got our UK Club Sport today.
Yes,
for anyone watching on the YouTube. Obviously, Dom's a columnist, so if you
I keep saying communist, but let's not add that to the list on this show, because it's a never-ending list at the moment.
Dom's a columnist, and there's loads of good crack. I've just read it myself. Aidan Robinson's done a really good article on sort of diets and importance of nutrition and hydration and stuff like that.
And the doctor's dangle and everything.
I've got a little bit of a
that
piece
mug
on. I've got me dangle out, and it's either me.
All the ladies listening out there.
I'm the dangler, and Richard Cooper is the opposing non-dangler, and we're kind of talking about the pros and cons of hanging your leg out, going into a corner, and there's lots of other things. I won't spoil it, but it's. If you, especially in times like this, if you want a little bike fix every month to drop through your letterbox, something to look forward to maybe like read on the toilet or whatever, get yourself subscribed. If you go over to UK Club Sport, and you can subscribe, like a yearly subscription, it doesn't end up costing much per magazine, and I would say it's well worth it.
Definitely, without a doubt. But obviously we're sponsors to thank for this one.
Yeah,
you want
I was just getting
you're
that.
just reeking through the phone. I'm just flicking through this UK clubs. It's nice to have a magazine through your hands here.
So
It's very
the
nice.
Burroughs Motor Company. So all the garages. Which was the one that you stopped off? Was it a Toyota garage?
Toyota garage, aye.
So they're at Rotherham, Barnsley, Doncaster, Sheffield,
that's where I was.
Worksop, and York. So if you're looking for a new one, was it a Kia, Mazda, or a Toyota, then head over to
Anything
one of
in
those
the range.
and make sure that if you do go and have a look, just mention that you've came listening from Chasin The Racin, because obviously it works.
You get a free prize.
Yeah, that then allows them to know that advertising's working, so therefore it helps us. We get more sponsorship, we do more podcasts, and so on. So it would
Circular life.
So, and if you are looking, I mean, I know there won't be this time of year, there'll be I'd imagine car garages will be taking a big hit. But if you are in a position where you're wanting to upgrade your car or have a look for a new car, then call in, have a look, and
Have a chat,
you've
have
got
a bit of crack.
Got nothing to lose, have you? And if you see something you like, remember the Chasin The Racin. And I spoke to Steve on the phone, and he told us about the offering the experience days. So I presume it's like track days or whatever. But there is actually no mention of it on this advert. But I'm pretty sure that he did say that if you buy a car, you get an experience day if you mention Chasin The Racin.
There we
So
are. Well, worth a shot.
I hope
It's worth
I'm
asking
dropping
anyway.
something in there.
It's worth asking anyway. It's
Yeah.
definitely worth doing. Absolutely worth doing. But I'll tell you, well, we've got everyone on. It's an interactive show at the end of the day. Yeah, any suggestions? Because to be honest, it was like this is the point where the podcast was going to become easier, wasn't it? When
With
we
all the
actually
racing crap.
with racing going on, everything like that. So, but obviously, any suggestions, any guest suggestions, do not be shy. Get on the phone and type some shite in, and it'll be. Hey, we'll do our best. We'll do our best.
Fabulous. So big thanks, and we'll be back next week. Obviously, I'm at home anyway, so
Well, the way things are going, I don't think
you'll be
anyone's going to be back. But no, I am. No, I'll
be
be.
fine for
Yeah,
next week.
we'll squeeze something in, man. We'll have to rack my brains, but we'll squeeze something in.
smashing. Okie doke. Well, I'll see you next Thursday, mate.
See you
Take
next
care.
Thursday.
Have a good weekend.
See you in a
and
bit.
See you next Thursday.
Bye, heart.
Ciao.